Hello everyone, welcome to Ashley Lancelot Show. I'm here with Game Newman / PewDiePie. I'm just joking. This is Review Tech USA.
What's going on, guys?
He is a very older YouTuber, actually 8 years apart, but he does a lot more for review techs and old gaming rigs that you can actually build. He also goes through programming other technical devices that pretty much are newer or older, and actually bluntly explain what it does and basically what the performance is like. You actually will say to your face honestly and also sincerely, but he also correct himself if he was wrong certain things as well. There's not a lot of YouTuber that actually does this, but we want to acknowledge that we need some trustworthy YouTubers around here as well that actually does a very good review of a lot of the text as well. And I believe that you finally do 4K streaming now.
Yeah, it's weird because it's exciting because I wanted to do it for a long time, but it's weird because I think it just has something to do with NVIDIA drivers, because I had the same hardware last time and it wouldn't even do it. Now it's actually fully functional, which is pretty exciting because that's what I wanted to do from the get-go. And I purchased a lot of equipment and spent a lot of money I thought I wasted money on because I didn't think it was going to happen for a while, but I just kind of tripped into it. So that was kind of an exciting, fun thing.
I think the one problem with you when you did the 4K streaming last time, it is the bandwidth, because you went from Fios that's only on the East Coast to Comcast. Then you went back to Fios again.
Oh yeah, well the funny thing is, Fios was, or not Fios, but Comcast was kind of funny about that because we had some issues with Fios and they weren't resolving them because Fios still has crappy customer service. I don't care what anybody says. And so I'm like, fine, I'll give Comcast a shot. I mean, that's the problem. You only have like one or two options wherever you live. So our options are either Fios or Comcast, or don't have internet.
Or you go back to dial-up.
Or you go back to dial-up, where you get some kind of weird ass, or no, they have the weird ass garbage satellite internet that's just terrible.
I think the max is like 50. That's if it's on a good day.
For the satellite stuff?
Yeah, 50 megs.
Yeah, and if I'm gonna be if 4K 24 when I just do my chat streams, that takes up 34 megabits per kilobits per second of bandwidth. So no, 34 megabits per second, excuse me. Yeah. So there's no way that I could even trust that. But I went into Comcast, and Comcast was like, "Oh, we could get you 200 megabits per." I'm like, "Damn, that's plenty, man. Shit." And I remember my fiance asked, she was like, 200 up and down, right? And she was like, yeah, up and down, uploads and downloads. You'll be 200 megabits per second. Okay, great. So all of a sudden, the guy, really nice guy too, one of the best, nice guy, great technician from Comcast came out, really professional, really nice guy, have nothing but good things to say about him. So he sets it up, does an excellent job doing the wiring, so on and so forth. And I'm like, great, now I have 200 megabits per second. So I go to check my internet speeds, and I'm getting like 250 down. Okay, great. Damn, I'm getting more than what I paid for. And all of a sudden, I look for upload. It does the upload. I try it on speed test or Ookla, depending on where you use it. And I'm getting 12 megabits per second up. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, no. That has to be screw up. So the router I guess it got a firmware update. It restarted. I'm like, all right, that's all it was. No big deal. So I do the speed test again. It's 12 megabits per second again. I'm like, so I asked the technician, I was like, why am I only getting 12 megabits per second? Actually, my uploads now are slower than they were with Fios. He's like, that's all that Comcast offers. And he told me, even if you went to a business line, they only offer like 50 at most. I'm like, yeah, I can't keep this. So I couldn't stream in 1080p with that kind of speeds for uploads. So, that's why part of what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was just saying, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm so pissed off. I'm so dead set against the repeal of net neutrality, because we're already in like monopolies and duopolies with these companies, and I've dealt with the issues. And to give them like untethered or unfettered, can't think of the right word right now, but whatever, to give them to have no regulations on them where they could do even more so what they want to, without net neutrality put in place is just an awful, awful, awful idea.
That is true. This is like what, the second time we're doing this now?
Yeah, we went through this already in 2015 with the Obama administration. It's so funny, though. Everyone sings Obama's praises, but here's the thing: is that the Obama administration and Tom Wheeler, who was the former FCC, they were going to do the same thing basically that Ajit Pai did. It wasn't until they succumbed to the pressure of the general public that they put net neutrality in place.
Yeah.
Everyone forgets that. You know what I mean? So this is the thing: is it has to be codified into law, because every time there's a new administration, there's going to be net neutrality ping pong. It's going to get repealed, it's going to get put back into place, it's going to get repealed, it's going to get. There has to be something where it's permanently set in place, so you can't have this game every time there's a new administration that comes into power.
But hopefully, in the 2018 mid-election, when we have a huge turnover with, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, just go
Neither am I.
right. And hopefully, because right now the Democrats are now more soundly sound, and hopefully we can get more of those in the Senate and the House. They actually be put into law. I don't think Trump's going to sign it. Then we've got to do the check and balance thing afterwards, and hopefully get that passed through it.
No, Trump was all for the repeal of net neutrality. He was, he's not going to sign that into law. There's going to have to be lawsuits, and some of the states, like New York State, did something that actually is a loophole to keep net neutrality in place. Where, okay, fine, the FCC, I don't know if you know they did this. The FCC put a provision in that proactively that states can't enforce net neutrality laws. But what states like, I believe, Oklahoma, New York, and California did was any ISP that has contracts with the government still has to abide by the rules. So it's still like, okay, you don't have to go by net neutrality, but if you have a contract with us, you still have to go. So it's protecting the general public and trying to keep net neutrality in place, which is a good thing. But
the funny thing is that the military also have contract as well with the several internet companies. I think we use majority of AT&T and Comcast. The problem with that is that a couple years ago we finally digitized all our paperwork into a digital file format, because we're still using libraries of binders filled with 3,000 to 4,000 pages of things that should be digitized, because you will not be able to find a lot of things for it. I don't think that the military right now they're having really of a struggle actually getting it through with the loophole, because of our commander-in-chief does not want to actually deal with it at all right now. I can go to any military base right now with my veterans card and have fun with their internet stuff over there, but it is just really horrid, because you think about a quad-core computer with a Windows 7 still in it with a 2 gig of RAM that should be at least about 8 gigs. Especially if you're computing a lot of application and program. It is very horrid, because they don't even spend the money on the technology on, especially what's like $800 billion now for the budget for the military.
They want to they want to spend it on more wars. They don't want to spend it on actually. It's the military-industrial complex, man. It's not about increasing the quality. It's about increasing the quantity of conflict so there could be more money made.
Yeah, but the problem is that it's not. If you think about, a lot of the wars are not really the wars back in like the Vietnam or the Iraq War. Right now, we're in the age of cyber war, and we need all these advancements and technology to be at par, and more programmers and actually coders. That actually can look at certain different irregularities into the program that's going into the firmware to actually find out, if you're getting breached or not. And right now, we're not spending the money for that.
That's true. One of our biggest vulnerabilities is cyber attacks right now.
Yeah. That's a lot of my channel are a lot younger for some reason, even though I play a lot of mature rated games in my channel. I'd like to know if you can introduce yourself to them, and we'll start with the interview.
Okay, sure. My name is Rich Masucci. I run the YouTube channel ReviewTechUSA. I've been doing it full time since 2013, but I've had it around since 2009. where I started uploading to ReviewTechU. I did a little bit beforehand, but nothing really special. So, what's going on, guys? How are you?
And please put a link down below. Please check him out. He's an awesome dude. And also his
Thank you.
live stream is like a way better radio talk show than the ones I'm hearing in my station right now. I mean, it just went down from since the early 90s and early 2000 was the great music, great talk show host. Now it's just all crap for some
Well, it's
reason.
fun. Well, because radio is pretty much dying. I mean, I think the last gasp of relevant radio may be Sirius XM. It was funny because a lot of people when I was in college, like, oh, you should go into radio. And I remember even thinking back then, I'm like, why? I'm actually surprised radio is still as relevant as it is right now. I honestly thought it would have been way we would be moved beyond it right now.
I believe it's the age gap too. That's why they're still alive. The last breath of air is the way older generations. Because how I remember it is basically a lot of talk shows were actually reliable in every certain ways. Now they're trying to make controversial and what if statements in most of the radio stations now.
I think, yeah, I think you're 100% right. If you look at, you have guys like Don Imus and all those. Well, yeah, I know, but I'm saying you'll never see someone like him come. You can't have radio celebrities are pretty much thing that'll never come back. I think we've moved beyond. I don't think we'll ever get like another Howard Stern or Rush Limbaugh for the three people that still watch him. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like it's a different time now.
I think they moved to digital now, to YouTube and everything. Not really YouTube, but I forgot. They have the different. Howard Stern moved to a different digital platform now because it's not making much money in the actual radio talk show.
Yeah, he's on Sirius XM. He's been on Sirius XM. He's honestly, from what I've read, he's like the only reason that people are still subscribed to Sirius XM. So they're paying him like ungodly amounts of money to stay on there, because if it wasn't for him, like Sirius XM literally probably wouldn't exist.
Yeah,
because he was gonna quit, and then like the executives came in and met with him, and they were just like throwing like suitcases full of cash at him to keep him there.
It's like, I want an extra 3 more suitcases and 3 other Japanese girls with me as well.
Oh, dude, he's making like hundreds of millions a year. Being on Sirius.
Yeah, I also remember that he was actually running for presidency as well a couple years back, but that never really happened.
No, what's funny is that now he would probably have more of a chance, but back then it was a much, now we have a reality TV president, but back then people.
Yeah, President Orangutan. That's why I call him now.
Now we got a President Spray Tan in office.
Yeah. Well, that actually helps a lot with the demonetization, because a lot of people I talk to as Trump supporter. I love them and I hate them. My wife's side of the family are Trump supporters. I don't really care as long as they're sound and logical, because I had to spend like 2 hours about school education system, about Betsy DeVos with my my father-in-law, and also the climate change. And after the end of the day, he's like so dumbfounded of why he actually voted for that person. I'm like, I think it's probably the big education gap back then, but back then you have a lot better education than what you have right now. It's just a lot harder, especially when you have four step kids and 2 kids of your own. What do you think about the school system now? Because they took away a lot of the programs for a lot of the money out for it as well.
Well, I gotta say the school system that my kids go to, and my stepkids go. Well, my kids don't go, but my stepkids go to is very good. That is part of the reason why we stayed in the same area. It's very highly rated, so we're lucky with that. But yeah, Betsy DeVos is a complete disaster, and what she's looking to do to the education system is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. So basically, you do a lot of these political talks as well side of your tech.
Mm-hmm.
I know you get a lot of backlashes from it. I know a lot of them do not bother you, and a lot of them do bother you. You actually reported one guy about on Twitter that humans are parasites.
He, well, here is my thing, and I always, if you're just going to be a basic troll, you're going to call me names. I don't care. You're going to, make memes or whatever, all that stuff, or you're going to go after me and just, insult me. I don't get insulted. That stuff doesn't bother me. But when it goes to that one person you're discussing, he's next level in terms of he's posted my family's personal information.
Holy crap.
He's putting pictures of my family out there. He's going after sponsorships. If people like he actually, one of the people that I saw your video saying you're going to do this chat with me, he made that person who made a indirect kind of comment towards you. That's him.
Well,
that's not a woman. That's not a woman.
Well, for me, it says I don't really care as long as you don't affect my family. The problem with me is that I could find that person, and a lot of people don't know it because, it's like I have the capability and the resources to find that person. But I won't do anything to it. I'm just going to report to the FBI because I can't go afford to jail and my family being starved. So.
Well, yeah. Well, it's funny how the biggest issue with a lot of, and something with legislation in the future needs to change, is that as soon as someone's in a different country than you, the laws are useless. The laws become completely impotent.
Of course.
And it's going to take some major tragedy to happen where, God forbid, and I'm not wishing this at all, but a politician's child gets caught in the crosshairs or something like this, where then all of a sudden, then it becomes, because they're aware of it, but our legal system is like probably 15 to 20 years behind technology.
Of course.
And that's the biggest issue right now. And then you have, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. But also because a lot of our politicians in Senate and House are like over 50 to 60 years old. That never really, that's the main problem that we have right now.
And they don't get it. Yeah. And then you have companies like Twitter, who, are pieces of garbage, who don't actually make users abide by their own TOS. I have literally before reported people with screen caps. Because when you report something on Twitter, you could send a screen capture or an image, and you could actually send a URL link of the exact tweet. I did both. But I purposely screen capped it too in case the person got rid of the tweet where they were threatening. It wasn't against me, but they were threatening physical violence against somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's uncalled for. Yeah. So I reported it, and they got back to me saying, "Oh, we looked into it. It doesn't violate TOS." I'm like, he said he's going to beat the shit out of somebody. That doesn't violate your terms of service? Yes, it does. I know it does. But that's...
He threatened humans, shooting as much as possible.
Yeah, I think that could be looked at, though, as they would say. I mean, I look at it as a red flag, but I think that what they would say is that, he was saying that as an as-if example, not that he's going to go do it, which...
doesn't mean anything. It would still be a red flag, because if that was actually through the if you implement that in a gun law for a background check stuff, that will they should not ever have a gun, because it's still a thought behind their back.
Yeah.
And also, what was that?
It's just what we just need the new laws put into place that things like this can be handled internationally, because that's the problem. It's even tough in the States. I think it's even a problem in the States, I'm noticing, where even if someone's in a different state than someone else, I've had a friend that had to deal with this. Someone's in a different state than someone else, that there's almost nothing that they could do to stop someone from cyber stalking.
Wow.
And that's absolutely ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
It's one of the things that, as people that's online that has to deal with this stuff, and hopefully one day that this will be fixed for it as well.
And I hope it's fixed, though, to where, I mean, you look at that guy. I don't know if you know what happened with that YouTuber, Count Dankula. You know what happened with him, where he made his pug do almost like the Nazi salute, and it was a joke. He's actually in the UK now, facing prison time because of that.
Yeah, 5 years.
That's the other extreme. 5 years. That's the other extreme that I don't want to see. That's insane. That's Orwellian that he's going to prison for something so stupid. Even if you don't find it funny, what was that? And that's the other thing that I fear is that if we start going down that route where we start, penalizing people for doing things like what some of these cyber stalkers do, okay, fine, that's good. But if we go too far down that road, I don't want to see things like that happen in the States where someone does a joke like Count Dankula did and they're going to prison for it. That's scary, to be quite honest with you, that that's even a thing, even though it's not in the United States.
I think I can see our United States going towards that route pretty soon, especially with even though like PewDiePie, it was said as a joke, but he got repercussion for it. But he hopefully learned his lesson. I didn't even watch his YouTube at all. And also, what's the other guy that has brought us to Disney store? Logan Paul, about the Suicide Forest and everything else, got a huge backlash, and the problem is that it is great when you tell people you're going to change for the better, then a couple weeks later you do the same thing and take a damn dead brat.
It's funny, a lot of people blame both of especially PewDiePie for the adpocalypse, and I'm not saying that the things that they've done aren't dumb. I did defend the PewDiePie with the whole Nazi symbolism thing because it was completely taken out of context. It wasn't that he was promoting. It wasn't that he was promoting Nazi beliefs. He was saying, "Oh, this person's being like a Nazi," and he was doing it as a joke. And that was totally missed in the news reports that you saw. And they were taking it. Almost seemed like it was a hit piece they were purposely taking out of context. Yeah. But I've gotten a lot of flack for a video that I made, and it ties into what happened with PewDiePie, where people were like, when they changed the partnership standards, now they made them much higher again, like they used to be, and a lot of people said I was being an elitist because I was glad that YouTube did that. No, what my issue was honestly because YouTube lowered the standards in 2013 and let anybody. There was no review. You didn't even have to have your channel reviewed. It was just if you uploaded videos, you could monetize them.
Oh yeah.
In 2013. And I remember thinking that's a really, 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 really bad idea. I was like, that's an awful idea. And it ended up being an awful idea. I really wholeheartedly believe that was the reason why the apocalypse happened. Because now anybody, whether you're part of ISIS or you're part of the KKK or whatever, you could upload whatever video you want to. Yes, it may be taken down eventually, but in the meantime, ads are running on it. And I knew that eventually advertisers were going to get skittish. And that's exactly what happened.
That is true.
And a lot of people took it as, oh, you're hating. A lot of people took it that I was hating on smaller YouTubers because I didn't want to see them succeed, and that's not the case at all.
Yeah. What
I wanted to see there be is to make sure that not anyone can get into the program that may do something stupid like that could hurt the entire website as a whole. So it's, and I'm still getting. Someone just attacked me on my personal Facebook yesterday for that video, saying that I was, being an elitist, and they like got into an argument. They just wanted to start a fight with me on Facebook over it. It's kind of crazy.
For me, even though I'm a smaller YouTuber, I actually agree wholeheartedly with everything you say. But a lot of times I actually looked at a lot of these channels and everything. My first channel was Ricecracker 1989. This is my second channel. The other one was basically for me talking about Dungeons and Dragons and me in the military. But this one basically, was for my mental health status, and a lot of people don't understand that. You're not going to make big right away. You're not going to get 1,000, 100,000, make money just like that. It actually takes time. You're going to have to sacrifice a certain amount of hours and time to actually get the content that you want and to put out. And I have a lot of these younger YouTubers. They're like literally 10 to 12 years old. And I don't know why. And their parents just let them do whatever they want. They subscribe to me as well. I actually support them and watch them. I told them how to upload OBS, whether you need to get a video capture card to do with your Switch and stuff like that. But they don't understand the concept of, if you're going to do YouTube, be yourself. Do not give any personal information about yourself or your family. Yep. And also the third thing is that if something skittish ever happens, talk to your parents. But don't come to me because I am not your parent. You have to, because if you're that young, make sure your parents knows about this thing as well, because a lot of these newcomers that have a Gmail account can become a YouTuber, and you can just fiddle around with the age description on it as well.
Yes, exactly. You can make yourself older than you actually are, or younger, or
Mhm.
whatever the case may be. Yeah, it's here's the thing to everyone out there who watches this. Um, is I also get the argument against what I say too. But Rich, if I'm not in the partnership program, if I can't monetize my videos, I kind of pushed out of YouTube's algorithm, and I'm like,
No.
yeah, I know. No, that is true. It is true that YouTube won't be as willing to promote you
Oh.
naturally because your videos aren't monetized.
Oh. Okay.
But that's the same thing. What you have to do is just be, put up a video a week if you're working 9 to 5,
Mm-hmm.
and you just gotta hope that someone either promotes you or your video gets posted on Reddit somewhere. That's what happened with
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
and then you'll get those views that come in, and they can be. It's going to take time, and it's not going to happen overnight. But it's not. But it's tough, and I've been in their shoes. It's
Yeah.
not me being an elitist. I've been there. I know what it's about, and if you really want to do it on YouTube, you will. It may
Yeah.
take you time. It took me years,
You
and that was
started.
when YouTube was smaller.
You started in 2008, and you actually didn't get actually got out to 2011, and because due to you told us a story several years ago, I believe, about you doing night job at the gym, and you started getting depressed and everything else, and you start calculating what that actually you able to live on and be happy about it.
Yeah, it was. I worked a full time job at like IBM, and they laid me off in 2009. And honestly, until then, I had jobs in between. That was when the economy was really shit.
Yeah.
And but I got like I worked at some jobs in between, and I got a full time job working a night shift at a gym, and it was brutal, man. Not the job itself. The job itself was actually easy. If it was a day shift job, it would have been much easier. I actually wanted to get moved to the day shift. They didn't have any day shift positions, and it was torture. I don't know how people do third shifts. I could do like a second shift over, but to drive home to go to bed when the sun was up was the most painful thing ever.
Oh,
And
you should join the
that was,
military.
I'm sure that would, I'm sure, man, I'm sure, and
uh,
I'm sure I could imagine. But that was at the time my channel just started to gain a significant amount of traction, and I'm like, you know what? I sat down, I did the math, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. Like either that or I'm going to lose my mind working the night shift, because I literally was like having panic attacks working that shift.
yeah.
And I'm very thankful and very lucky it did ended up working out. I never thought it would have, but it did.
How do you think from let's say 2011 to 2018? What are the ups and downs as a YouTuber that what you find out was your greatest strength and your greatest weakness, and how do you overcome it?
My I would say my greatest strength is that it's going to sound generic, but it is the truth, is that I love what I do. If I didn't, I wouldn't care how much money is involved or how little money is involved. I wouldn't have stuck to it for as long as I did, to be honest with you. Um, I'm learning more. I would say my weakness is that I could be inconsistent. Like I'll do a format change and I won't stick with it. Now this one I've stuck with, where I have the studio now. This is
Mm-hmm.
like what I've wanted since I started doing this. Um, but I'm learning to be more consistent, like stream more and upload more content and do more things like that. Um, and that's one of my things, is I'm disciplining myself more to do things that before I would just kind of go back and forth on. That's definitely my biggest weakness.
I remember, I think it was one apartment that has a stair in it, or might be a house, and you had a desk and you have a keyboard on the side. A couple like months later, you're like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna try green screen. I'm like, oh no, that's no, my eyes hurt. Went back to
yeah, that
video
was
game.
well, the first one, that was actually when I was in my old apartment. And I was just using a webcam with the mic back then. That was like 2014 at latest, maybe. I even had another format, and it was got. That's the thing. I thought they all sucked, and that's the only thing I'll defend myself with. I just didn't like them. They weren't up to the standard that I wanted. Like they had at first I did where I had a black tart or black curtain behind me. I was sitting at a plastic desk, and it just looked really weird. I was just in like a black void. That was awful. The one that I should have maybe stuck to, it was okay, was the one where I was just in my apartment where you saw the stairs behind me. That was
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
That wasn't that bad. As long as I kept the place clean, which I did, that wasn't terrible.
Uh, uh,
Um, but it still wasn't what I wanted.
You also did a format changing on your reviewing box, reviewing table. Which
Yeah, that awful reviewing. Yeah, that was, man. You're going back way back. Yeah,
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 you're
yeah.
like you got the white, you got the brown, then you got like the black plastic over it, then you got something over a clear plastic over that. I'm like,
Yeah, that was all awful. That was definitely something I would have never. That's what I'm saying, and that's why you're pretty much nailing why I flipped it up so much.
yeah,
And I was like, I need to. And then I did then you said it. I did the one where it had the green screen with the gameplay behind me, and that
yeah,
just didn't. That was just awful. Made no sense. It was
yeah,
just me talking with random gameplay behind me. It just
yeah.
was no.
It,
So
it's just like eye doesn't go towards you; it just goes towards the middle of the screen.
yeah, it wasn't very pleasing. Not that I'm gorgeous to look at, but it just wasn't a very pleasing. Wasn't very pleasing content to watch. So when we moved again recently, I'm like, you know what? I saw it was kind of chance. Like my fiance was on Facebook, and I saw her scrolling, and there was a office rental space. I'm like, you know what, man, I really should get an office.
Yeah,
And it was funny. I met the guy who's my landlord now. He's a great guy. There was one space he showed me, and it was right near like the main road, and all you heard was cars. I'm like, I can't do this. And he's like, wait, hold on, I got this other room. And he showed that to me, and it was perfect. It was away from the road. It was big enough, and here I am now.
yeah.
And it finally, and as you see, now that I like my format, I've stuck to it.
Yeah, and it's actually a very nice format. I know it took a lot of work and resources for it, but actually it is one of the best ones that you ever made. I think that past experience, you just you made a tweet about if I succeed, it's myself. I fail, it's myself. I tweeted back like because I mentor a lot of high schoolers and I help them write college letters. Like I'm a vice president of San Angelo Lions Club, and basically I told them, in life you will fail, no matter what. You're going to fail. You fail
Absolutely.
next day, next year. You'll lose your job, whatever. But you always got to remember to keep yourself up. Have someone that you trust keep yourself up and keep pushing on forward. That's the only way you'll succeed and learn from your mistakes. Because
That's 100. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everyone, you're 100% right. Everyone, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. You're going to lose a job. You're going to, whatever the case may be. The people that succeed don't let that failure just define them.
Yeah. And a lot of times it's like talking to a wall, because a lot of these young kids, back then I was raised in Compton, LA, and
oh wow,
yeah, and I've been family that divorced, and what it doesn't matter. And it's like a lot of these kids, that has a silver spoon up their ass, and they never had a job in their life. I started working like 14, and I didn't have a car because transportation was here. It's great, but they don't understand about how the hours of incomes, the knowledge you need to have, and the experience you need to have. They think that just getting out of high school and just go to college with a degree, I'm gonna get a job. No, you need to have experience.
No, even you know what, man? Even my generation, or even older, yeah. It's they think that because they got a bachelor's or master's or whatever the case may be, that the jobs are just going to line up for them, and that's just not the way it works. You have to remember, even if you have a bachelor's or a master's, or hell, even a PhD now. Granted, as you go up in education, there's a smaller group of people to pick from. Mm-hmm. You're not the only one who has that degree and has that education. There may be a million other people out there with the same exact degree, with the same exact capabilities, with the PhD. It's about who has the hustle behind it.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize. They think, oh, I have an education, so I'm going to make that 6-figure job now. Like, hell no. You got to prove yourself, man. You got to go out and, apply to a bunch of different places. You got to make yourself stand out from the crowd, because no matter how much you're educated, there's still a crowd of other people that are just as educated as you.
Oh yeah, because I think with that communication, I'm thinking you finished your communication degree.
Yeah.
And you're actually using that knowledge as YouTube, and actually getting experience.
No. Like I said, with my communications degree, a lot of the stuff I learned was they were behind the curve where I learned it,
Uh-huh.
and it was it was when I was in school for communications, it was right at like the cusp of when everything was going to be on computers and everything was going to be digital,
Yeah.
and it just wasn't. It was I kind of had to just teach myself, and that's kind of what I did when I. And the funny thing is, when I left school, actually, I was one class shy of having finishing my communications degree because I realized that it was bullshit and I was tired of wasting money on it. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, and I ended up doing stuff with like sales and computers for a while, and because and I just kind of learned the communication stuff myself.
Uh, well, even though you still gotta get the education and the experience, even though I do it by yourself as well. You're like one of the key component that actually shows what you had to go through and has to see because you have to keep on moving and going forward as well.
And you got to look at even a fallback, like when I got laid off from IBM.
Mhm.
You got to look at those kind of things as an opportunity because probably indirectly it was me being laid off from IBM which allowed me to do things with YouTube that I probably would never been able to do if I was working a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And it ended up, granted, it sucked because I really thought that was my career. I thought I was going to work for IBM, kind of move up in the ranks there and do more things with IT and networking and stuff like that. And I thought over time, I would still be there. And
Mhm.
I'm very thankful that I'm not because I'm much happier doing what I'm doing now
Oh
than
yeah.
doing, you know.
Plus you're your own boss too.
I am. Let me tell you, one thing I've learned, man, is that that's not as comforting as to many people as it may seem, man. Because you got to get to work no matter what.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Even if you can't fire yourself, YouTube's algorithm could fire you.
Oh yeah. But now we have competition with Twitch now. I actually started using Premiere. I did not like it as much as I do. But I bet you have a more of a chance with the Premiere settings because they can't do the regular schedule settings on Twitch yet. They originally did.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have a feeling that whole Premiere thing is going to kind of go away.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, they need competition. YouTube and everyone, everyone's like, "Oh, I want YouTube to go away." I'm like, I don't want YouTube to go away. Um, I want YouTube to have competition, so they have to feel the need to make themselves better.
Yeah. That's
You
how
know
you
what I mean?
that's how you're gonna get better product overall and also different like you're talking about AMD and Intel core processing. Like one CPU is powerful than the other. The AMD next time in the next generation, like a couple of years from AMD makes a powerful one and a lot cheaper as well. And they always, that's how you get good competition with one another to see which one's better and also a better price as well.
Well, that was what was funny is when AMD was really getting hit hard by Intel when their FX chips, especially when they first came out, and they were
Yeah.
pretty much disappointments across the board. Where at best their top of the line when they first dropped, well, when they came out with the 8350, even their top of the line was it was couldn't even compare or basically barely compare it to a mid-range i5 from Intel. If you really think about it, it was because AMD, and I'm just bringing an example of why it's important with YouTube. It was because AMD was so far behind Intel's offerings that Intel was so lazy for quite a long time.
Yeah.
It wasn't really until the eighth generation that we got a 6-core i7, if you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, we just had, oh, look, we have another quad core. It's more refined. It's a, smaller fabrication process. Oh boy. And, they weren't really giving us anything special.
Yeah.
You could kind of compare YouTube to that now too. Everyone asks for more transparency. They're not really too willing to do it. Mark my words, if Twitch really starts to intrude on the whole vlogging or user generated content space beyond streaming, YouTube will become a lot more friendly and do a lot more pro creator, pro consumer things than they're doing now.
Oh yeah.
Because competition makes companies more innovative.
Oh yeah, of course, because they want to get as much money as possible in the end. That's every company's goal. as
Yeah.
taking as much. If they have no competition, it's taking as much money, and no one's taking it from them, nothing to worry about. But if when someone else is coming in, a big contender like Amazon, that's they have to actually work for it now, especially with all that controversy that's been happening with the advertisement pulling away from certain sites that should not be there, and they should make the algorithm AI a lot more better. Um, the problem is, I've been doing computer science for almost 17 years now. I know how to program. Uh, a lot of these things that people bypass, they need to start looking at is the taglines, because you can say whatever you want in the taglines. That I've been looking at it because I actually sometimes for fun look at the YouTube source code uh, for leisure if I'm bored or not. And a lot of times these AIs actually look at the tags, not actually look at the titles or the description of it. And that's the one main thing that they need to actually work on. I actually sent YouTube a message about it as well, because a lot of times these AIs actually just reading the tags, and you can just fudge it up if you want.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there'll be people that'll find their way around that and do, and get their questionable videos to get ads on them again.
Yeah,
I think we're a long, and I don't think YouTube wants to admit this because it'll scare off advertisers again. But I think we're still a long way off with machine learning for it to be properly able to identify what is something that an advertiser would find to be um, offensive content.
of course. Also, the main thing is I think it will take about another 5 to 10 years to actually get it completely done with, because we're still in the cusp of AI integrated learning tool right now, and we still don't have a actual perfect template of it. Because I remember Microsoft had a AI on the website, and you make it say all these verbal disgusting words on it, because that's what I
Oh yeah,
learned.
yeah, yeah.
And it's one of those things is that every repetition you got to have to make a certain inquiry about certain things, because they will actually save it into the RAM, then they'll put it onto the solid state drive or hard drive, and every time a source code that links to whatever that what they're saying, they'll go to the one that will actually requested or set the most towards. But they have to make a more of a if and then and else if and if not statements to actually to make that more of a learning curve for the AIs to learn.
Are you talking about there was a bot on Twitter that was
Alice,
machine learning based. That was by yes, that was by Microsoft, and people manipulated her algorithm into becoming like a sex addicted, insane. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. We're not there yet with it.
yeah.
It's not ready. It's not.
Yeah, but we were good with robotic innovation right now, a lot better than what we did. But we right now is just how we're still figuring out. You might agree with me, is how we try to figure out how we think and try to put that in machine code language, and we still don't have the actual idea how to do it. We have an idea of option one and option two, but they need to make an algorithm that makes a backwards thinking of analyzing it as make it at a door number three or an option number three for it. But we're not there at that stage yet.
No, yeah, we're not at that stage yet where they have that nuanced, context based algorithm learning. That's a lot, man. There's plenty of humans that don't have that down pat. Little,
Yeah,
that they don't understand context and nuance and all those things. You're going to have a robot understand that? Come
yeah.
on, man. I don't buy that. I don't buy it at
And
all. I really think that was something that was put out there to appease the advertisers, and it is working to a degree, but
yeah, but it's still like very low safe. Even like the ones they have on commercial, like, oh, look at this new AI robot for your kids. It could talk to you, you can socialize with it, but there's like so many problems with it. Like Alexa has like the hideous laugh problem with this programming as well, that Amazon just shut down and fixed the firmware up on it. It's just that people just got to understand, because you got to have a lot of these people don't really research any of these how far the robot industry is, how far our program industry is, or logic. Because if you want to program robot or AI, you need to know logic, basic function logic. Like your first computer was a Texas Instrument, was it 85, I believe. I forgot the last number.
I don't forgot the I got to look it up. A TI-4A, maybe I believe it was called.
Yeah.
It was that silver one, which actually had a cartridge slot on it.
Yeah. Because you was telling people about you got to program in BASIC.
Yeah.
And I had to after the video on my couple of my Facebook, I believe, someone messaged me like, "What is BASIC?" I'm like, that is like the OG of programming since it evolved into DOS. Because Bill Gates, and I forgot the other guy's name was, created BASIC in Harvard, and then they just sold that to a different company to use that BASIC language. Made that oh man, try to remember things I that I know of, but yeah, I think you should like explain like those kind of things. But a lot of the audience you have might be your age, but a lot of them are a lot younger. They don't know what BASIC really is or what programming really is about.
Well, BASIC has been outdated now. Forgot how long.
We still use it.
Do we still use BASIC? Okay.
It's the ASCII key 7. That's in every computer, right? That's the I forgot. It's the basic language of your operating system right now. That's the American standard that we use, but we actually have application that actually reads it and reverberate it. So we still have it in every single computer because all it is binaries.
Oh, okay.
Zeros and ones. So you every time you press an A on your keyboard, that's your ASCII 7 basic binary number right there for your hexadecimal 16.
Check that out, man. You learn something new every day. That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, because I was learning Python in class. I'm like, this is like the backward version of JavaScript. And we're like, we're still using BASIC, even though it's old as hell, but it's effective.
Yeah, BASIC is very, very well. BASIC kind of, and I know it's not exactly what the acronym means, but BASIC is very old, very antiquated.
Mm-hmm. Then it moved to DOS. Oh god! And what's the DOS? Maybe DOS. I was Cobalt, and then to Nomad. After Nomad, I believe after that, and that's when Basic C came out. Then Java, then HTML, and so forth and so on. Other languages that have been obsolete that we still use.
Well, I guess it's better to just use those languages than to kind of revamp everything from the ground up.
Well, that is programming. Everything's add on top of each other. No one in the right mind will build a programming from scratch. You gotta be insane.
Yeah, because you'd have to build it in binary, and that's mind-numbingly insane. Yeah.
Shit.
I mean, you would know more about that than I would. You'd be typing out code in ones and zeros, and who the hell is going to do that? Who the hell? Most people can't even do that.
I'd rather bury myself alive and do BASIC ever again. I did a Hello World in BASIC, and that took me. It just basically said Hello World with a green backdrop, and by my name. I remember in high school I was doing that for my computer science class. It took me almost 3 to 4 days, 12 hours each day. It is because you're going to have to get the basic ASCII key. You also got to have Windows. I think back then it was Windows XP to actually understand what you're saying. So you got to go to different type of application to open it. Plus you got to put the information through RAM so that it will have a temporary storage, so they will actually hold that RAM and to compute it, and use a CPU to calculate it. It's hell.
Wow. Yeah. So what do you still do programming now? You said
I trying to since my disability when the military tried to kill me multiple times. I am a 100% disabled veteran now with severe physical and mental disability. So I can So I could talk. I'm not. I actually made a video about it. I'm not gonna talk it during this pod. I can talk after we stop recording about it. Basically, I am not able to work. Due to the fact that I have a severe anxiety. I would go literally panic attack like area. I go to school. I have a documented letter from the disability that basically I can leave class and come back for it. But after 2 years of schooling, when I got out, I got A's and B's, perfect grading. After the past last year, my health has been degrading really bad, and I am basically doing my last semester until I literally get. I'm actually asking for people's help with a lot of things, but with social media, with me, can't mix. I lost majority half of my memory, especially programming. So that's probably one big downfall. And it's hell. It's enough about me.
Wow, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Dude, it's all right. You make my life happy.
No, thank you. Appreciate that.
You guys videos, you know, a lot of people with, especially me, veterans I work with Army Rangers and vets and everything else. They're like very, they're like really they're becoming more like shut-ins because they don't communicate with others. And I thought about a way like, why not? We don't like Facebook and Xanga much. Well, I mean, Fenster, that's back then, but I mean, like Facebook and Twitter as much because you don't have the actual communication face to face that you really want. So I was thinking about doing YouTube. And while doing YouTube, my anxiety actually got a lot better over the times because I'm actually talking and on video, and sometimes people want to talk
engaging.
To me. Yeah,
engaging. Yeah,
that's the one thing I want to do. I really don't care about the money. I just want to, get like 1,000, 2,000 people. Like every other day, I talk to someone different from different worlds. I'm getting a lot of Russians, but that's all right with me.
Yeah, it helped me. When I got laid off too, doing YouTube did help me a lot because I went through a very tough time at that time too. And doing YouTube, and like I made a video about it. Halo 3 was a huge help for me back then.
With the
it was an escape
with that dog.
Yeah.
That was a funny story. It was like, oh, so how big was this dog? You never actually say what kind of dog it was.
Oh God, the dog. Yeah, it was. I think it was a sheepdog. I forgot. It was a huge dog that was black and white. And it was long hair. I think it was a sheepdog. I'm not sure what they're actually called. But yeah, that dog. He was so vicious that if my ex-girlfriend wasn't there and I was there, I had to be locked in the room to stay away from him because he would try to attack. You would think like every dog I've met, like dogs in the beginning are skittish. Yeah. And usually they get over it. Not him. He was a miserable motherfucker, that dog. His name was Cow. I remember his name vividly. Because he was black and white. And my ex loved him, man. Miserable bastard of a dog, but she loved him.
Yeah. I think you totally said that actually saved your life. I think
it did.
Yeah.
It's funny. There's a lot of people I saw that were skeptical of me. No, it literally did, man. Yeah. I would have lost my fucking mind if it wasn't for Halo.
Yeah. And I think we'll go like a little more of your like different videos of it, and I think we'll actually end it. I think you got a lot of work to do as well today, I believe.
Well, no, I'm actually good. I'm just hoping that it still doesn't snow. Well, it's just weird. It was supposed to snow like last night, and so I'm like, all right, I recorded a video, and I left work early, thinking, all right, I could work at home. It didn't snow. It didn't snow at all. We had a couple flakes, and it's still. I don't even think it's snowing now.
You can go out and check if you want.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I have an all-wheel drive car. It can't be that bad yet.
Oh, freaking driving in the snow in Delaware. I remember that's how I got my injury started. Freaking blizzard snow working in the my C5. Twisted my whole left foot 180 degrees.
Oh God, that's brutal.
Ripped my Achilles, ruptured my Achilles, ripped all my ligaments. And I thought the best way is opioids.
No.
Instead of sewing it back together, I got better when I flew to Japan and lived there for a couple of years. Fucking foot just dangled up like a freaking broken broken Slim Jim.
Oh God!
So they gave me
opioids.
Yeah, opioids. I mean, like 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 bigger than horse pill opioids because my body has a high tolerance of medication. So every time you give me something, I build a tolerance, so I want more of it. I got epidural
Oh,
like 2 to 3 times a week. And I got like all these medications like for mental stability. Almost burned down a whole hangar, and uh, uh so basically, because this huge opioid epidemic, so they think opioid will fix everything, and I don't know why they put marijuana. I know why they put marijuana as a Schedule One drug, but other than that, I got epidural 2 3 times a week. It used to be like 2 3 times a month. I don't know. You know what? I think you should know what epidural was. I bet your fiance had it multiple times giving birth.
yes.
Yeah, I had to get that 2 3 times a week, and that actually literally
Wow.
destroys your body internally. That's how I got. That's why I'm like literally, I am a walking corpse. Gonna be a walking corpse soon. So hopefully this will kick off and I'll be able to do a lot of stuff. Plus, like you said, this actually helps a lot with anxiety and stuff like that. That's why I'm still doing this. And you're one of the persons that I actually highly respect in keeping the people's spirits up. I think that's why a lot of the veterans actually look out after you, talk to you, and because a lot of them are techies as well, even though they're Marines, Air Force, and the Navy. There's only 1% of the American population that are actually military. So it's like 100,000. So you have a good about, I would say, 50,000 military member actually. Not I would say about 25,000 of them, 25 to 50,000 of them are actually your core audience.
Oh, wow, that's great. That's
Yeah,
awesome to hear.
and I got a
That's
couple of
amazing. Wow.
yeah, and I got a couple of my buddies that wants me to. I'm will be definitely presenting you an Air Force coin, and I'll be writing a letter. If you want to read it when I send it to you, that'd be great. I sent one to RGT. He was very stoked because I got a couple of my military people with disabilities that are actually stuck at home and stuff like that to lift their spirit. RGT is a very good YouTuber. I'm very happy to actually do stuff with him, and I'm trying to set up a podcast with you, me, RGT. I just recently know about Spawnwave about a week, and I want to do a podcast at least once or twice a month, just about gaming and life in general. Just like the Drunken Podcast, they do more like political stuff and smash on that. We'll
Hmm.
do this for a gaming version of it, and and like policies that's like happening in game, like they pointing fingers again on violent video game. To me, that's so bullshit as well.
Especially after it's been debunked countless times. And the thing, like I even said it in that video I made, is that look, if there was evidence pointing and supporting that violent video games do make people mentally unstable and cause them to commit some of the things like the bombings now that happened in Texas, which he ended up blowing himself up, which that's a wonderful way to go.
So was this the recent one, the bombing, or
Yeah, the bombings. There was bombings down in Texas where there's
because I know they were doing projects.
prominent black families in Texas who were being targeted,
Oh
and
yeah.
there was this the piece of shit Anthony Condit that was doing it, and when they finally caught up to him, he blew himself up. Which there's more to the story than that too as well, but that's that besides the point.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be realistic about it and say, hey, look, there is evidence saying that violent video games may cause people to actually be violent. So, hey, I have to be realistic. It's out there, but there isn't. At
Mm-hmm.
worst, the most I've seen is the evidence is inconclusive.
Yeah.
That's the worst that I've seen.
A lot of times when I see a violent video game, is usually people just more addicted to the game itself and just harming themselves, not others. Because a lot of people literally end their life playing hours of end, playing a lot of these violent video games. Like Counter Strike, I used to play the damn game to death when I was in fourth grade. But I wasn't that addicted enough to sit down for like 16, 22 hours and not go to use restroom or walk around and circulate your blood and end up being in shock and killing yourself in the end.
Yeah, that actually has happened to people where they play for so long that they actually, they end up getting a blood clot in their leg and it ends up killing them. Yeah, I think um, it's there is no evidence there that supports it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing that bothers me. And we've been down this road before countless times.
Mm-hmm.
And to go down this route again when it's pretty much been debunked. And like I said, the worst that they find is the evidence is inconclusive is absolutely ridiculous. And I've said in my videos, I'm for the Second Amendment. I just think there needs to be something needs to be attempted, whether it be a mixture of mental health and tighter gun restrictions.
Yeah.
Because and the funniest thing is that, would a criminal always be able to get their hands on a gun? I'm like, okay, so that's like saying, a murderer will always be able to murder his wife, even if we don't have any laws against murder. A bank robber will always be able to rob a bank, even if we have laws against it. With that mindset, you might as well just get rid of all the laws and have the purge. You know what I'm saying? There's rules and there's laws. People don't abide by laws. No shit. Mm-hmm. But to do nothing, even if there is some gun regulations that are put in place that prevent 2 of these mass shootings from happening, they're worth it. Yeah. That means that dozens of lives could possibly be saved. And again, I like I said, I'm planning on, if a discussion with my fiance, of course, getting some kind of firearm over the summer. It's not that I'm against guns. Yeah. It's just that doing nothing is not the solution.
I have a 22 Winchester and a Luger from World War II from my father-in-law.
Oh, do you? That's amazing.
Yeah, and you can buy those truly cheap cheap for $600. They're not that rare at all because they've been mass-produced during World War II. But it was one of the items from the Treasures of War that I got. But it's in the Armory in Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. I think they're going to probably take it away. Keep it for themselves because I really don't care about it. But the problem is that people think that playing Counter-Strike or playing Call of Duty on a controller and a keyboard is same as holding an actual gun and firing it. I'm like,
no. You should know that even more than me. Of course it's not. Of course it's not.
And there were actual trained Army Rangers on Facebook. They got an 80-year-old that was highly addicted to Counter-Strike. It was Call of Duty. And he bought an M15, not an M16 because he retired. And have him shoot it. The kid did not like it. He just ran away, got scared. Because it's different. It's the sound.
The sound, you're telling, of course you could say the sound, the recoil. Yeah. It's not even, pushing this on your Xbox controller is not the same as pulling the trigger, which also has a lot more resistance. Again, you would know better than me.
Yeah, and the funny thing is the comments like, has a rumble feature for each ammunition to gain trained from. I'm like, have you ever shot a weapon in your life? Have you actually literally went to a range and shot a weapon in your life? It's like, no, then shut the F up.
It's amazing. And that's the thing, and that's when I see these lawmakers trying to use guns as a scapegoat. I'm like, you can't. It's not training them for anything. Do you think that's aiming your crosshairs in Call of Duty World War II in a deathmatch is the same as looking down the sight of an AR-15?
Yeah. And like when they blame the gun violence in Florida, the mass shooting, I'm very sorry for their losses. That guy got trained by a hate group how to use a tactile weapon, and how to and also show them what to do in technical ways, even though they deny it, but they did. It's like you need to get some form of training to actually do it. You cannot just have a 12-year-old with a weapon, and let's say a handgun, a 9mm, a whole about 12 rounds. Okay, 12 rounds within, I believe, a second. You can actually get, I think, a second or a minute. I don't know that. I can't remember that well. Go in. How fast that kid would be dropped on the ground when a kid that actually trained in a certain area what to do in a certain aspect of it, because a lot of these kids, younger kids don't have the brain capacity to actually think a few steps ahead until you get a lot older and you start to starting to think like a game of chess, because most of the time life is a game of chess. Some of your pieces will be taken, some of you take their pieces as well. It's just that it is damning to me. Like they also point fingers on immigrants. They blaming on Muslim, but most of the actual shootings are radical Christians. Sometimes we have mental illness from San Antonio, Texas. got dishonorable discharge and went to a church and went to mass shooting over there because of some kind because he got because his I think his wife or his girlfriend cheated on him, they got divorced, they got dishonorable discharge, and the guy just went crazy. It's like it is mostly an environmental factor. It's not the actual console itself because we've been having freaking Nintendo Entertainment with a damn gun. Was a duck hunt with a gun. It's like
Yes, I actually had the pre. I don't know if you did. I had the one that was even before they had to make them bright colors. It was gray and white.
I have the orange and gray.
Yeah, that happened after when they put regulations. They were afraid people were gonna, even though a zapper looks nothing like a gun, even the gray and white one, but they were afraid that people were gonna like pretend they were actual guns to like go stick up stores with.
Yeah,
So they made it orange. Yeah.
and also and they don't research like, oh, if you're going to do actual guns and stuff, you should always do it for pellet guns as well, because a lot of these high pump power pump action pellet guns, they still sell metal and plastic beads. I went camping with my dad one day. We shot about a big oak tree, and then, you know how thick and heavy they are. And we've got like 8 to 12 pumps in it. We got a metal bead. It went about a foot through it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and these are just regular Walmart $20 pump action rifle pumps.
So there's weapons out there that people don't even realize are weapons. That's interesting. Okay.
Even your paintball gun can actually hurt you too if you actually disassemble it, and if you know how physics work with coils, you're gonna have a very bad day.
Well, there was it was interesting you said that because there was an actor who ended up killing himself. He was joking around there. He thought he was like, oh no, even if it goes off, no big deal. There was a blank in the gun, but because he held it right up to his head and accidentally pulled the trigger, it killed him because the blank still penetrated his brain.
Yeah, because it's the compression of the air.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of these people don't think before. I think one of the main thing I feel, I have a brother that's 14 years younger than me, and looking at generations now and back then, I think we're like missing a huge point of common sense in this world. It's just a lot of people are getting older and they try to keep the money that they have from getting rich off of it, and a lot of the kids are getting dumber because they be so desensitized with everything that's what's going around them instead of actually going out and thinking for themselves. Because I remember playing freaking Compton concrete soccer and concrete football. I don't know if you guys did that in New York.
No, I never did. And maybe it's called something different. What was the sport? What was it?
You play soccer or football in the middle of the busy street.
Oh yeah.
Because there was not really any parks like several miles away, especially in the bad neighborhood. It's like it's like there's nothing we can do. We can't play inside apartments, so we freaking busy playing the busy road and just freaking it's, I think that danger
move when the car comes. Yeah, man, yeah. You move when the car comes.
And it's like I think that people like for us, it's like we learned from it. It was stupid. Someone got killed from it. And we actually discipline and teach our kids what to do, what not to do. And nowadays, I think parents are just fed up with it and just here's a kid, here's a tablet, give a 5-year-old a freaking tablet.
Yeah, or you buy a 9-year-old an iPhone.
Yeah,
here, shut up, go away, go do something on this, and then you have the internet raise them. Yeah, how's that working out?
Yeah, it's like it's like, oh, same as TV. Oh, really? Now, well, back then
no,
that
it's
was
not.
Mr. Rogers. Telling about feelings and respecting other people. The Sesame Street back then was really good. Now it's like garbage when it moved to HBO. What was it? Barney. It's like back then. I bought a lot of these DVDs, the old ones, so that when I have a kid, they'll be watching those shit. A lot of the newer ones are like very weird. Little Einstein was pretty good when I was watching my little brother, but other than that, I haven't seen a lot of these educational shows. Because I made sure my brother don't touch a tablet until I went to the military, and my dad's like, "Here's a tablet." Like, why? Why does he have an iPhone 4? He's like, I have a Nokia brick. I can give it to him. I still have it. Still works.
Yeah, if he needs to communicate, you have something that's just a basic format. Yeah, they don't need to have a computer in his pocket that Lord knows what he could do with it. Yeah, exactly.
And the one thing is that it's like You cannot. It's very easy to monetize the actual thing if the parents are actually knowledgeable to research it. There are a keygen screen caps that you can actually see what the kids are doing. But or a lot of time, these kids are getting bullied for stupid reasons because they have the newer phone, the newer game consoles, and it's like back then I only had one game with Super Nintendo. I had it for 10 years. I didn't get a GameCube. And my next one was a GameCube. It was a huge gap. My friend has a cool toys, but look how I turned out to be. It's like you have that you don't care, you want it, but you don't need it.
Yeah, see, that's where I was. My parent, I was a spoiled shit back then. I got everything when it came out. I'll admit it. I'm not going to sugarcoat that or lie about it, man. And be like, oh yeah, I got nothing. No, I got. Man, I remember when I was a kid, I had a. It was in a. My dad turned a bread box or whatever it is into like almost like an entertainment center, and I had the Super Nintendo, and I had the Sega Genesis with the Sega CD and another one, and then I had what other? Did I have a 3DO in the other system? I even had the stupid ass 3DO, that super expensive thing that flopped. And yeah, I had a computer monitor because it was a computer monitor. It was also a TV, but it had a really clear picture for, and that's how I gained. But everything that came out, man, my parents got it for me because I just was a spoiled. I was an only child. That's part of it too.
Yeah, but I was only a child for 14 years. But you also got to know.
Oh yeah.
Once you got the stuff, you appreciated the stuff that you got, right?
Yes. Oh, I still did. Even though I was spoiled, I still did. And if I was out of line, my mom would kick my ass. So it wasn't like it wasn't like they just let me run rampant and do what I want to and just threw money at me.
Yeah, and nowadays it's nowadays with that, kids don't appreciate what they got. They think they're entitled to it, and also they don't discipline them.
Yeah. And well, that's the thing too. Here's the thing. Like, even though my parents spoiled me, when I did stupid shit, they took it away though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, if I got grounded, they would be like, all right, I'm taking the Super Nintendo. I'm making sure I'm taking all the adapters. You ain't playing shit for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. And it happened, but now it's like the kids do stupid shit and the parents either take it away for like 5 minutes or they don't take it away at all. I'm like, your 12-year-old daughter just told you to fuck off. I think that she should get it taken away for more than a fucking hour. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. Like, they're afraid to fucking discipline them now. Excuse me, I don't know if you want me to curse in here or not, but
I really don't care. I haven't told the kids. I made a video of if this channel family friendly or not. I told them this is a gray zone. If you get your parents, if you're young, if you're not, you're fine. Watch the playlist. Just watch a couple videos on the playlist and see what games are out there. I play mature games. I play shooter games too. I play Doom on the Switch. I reviewed it because it's like that is if your parents are okay with it, because I have no control over your life. That is, if anything happens, it's your ass, not mine.
That's part of what I think. That's one of the things that bothers me a little bit about not YouTube, but the people that like I have luckily, and I think and I'm pretty sure it's fairly accurate telling by most of the people that I interact with, like you, is that I have mostly my biggest tier or my most prominent percentage of people that watch are 24 to 35.
Yeah.
But I do have people in my, like, I make, I swear on my videos. I'm not G-rated in my videos by any means. And I'll have parents complain sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, you should watch what you say. My son watches you. And I'm like, that's not my job. That's your job as a parent. If you're not comfortable with your kid watching stuff like this, you step in, because the majority of my audience, that's just me, and that's how they want me to be. And but it's not that I'm catering to them. That's just who I am. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be my job to curtail myself because you don't want to, make you see what your kids are watching.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem to me.
Yeah, because I just feel like, they think they have a very chilly childhood and they're trying to give the kids everything. But no, once you have a spoiled brat in the beginning, later on, when they're adult, they're going to become a spoiled brat. They think they'll get any kind of job that they want, but they won't.
Yeah.
Reality hits them like, oh my God, the world's so messed up. I'm going to be hiding in the corner and and play games forever. They're going to see the daylight again. Like, no.
And then, yeah, man, reality sets in. Reality sets in, and all of a sudden, wow, the world isn't going to be rolled out for me on a red carpet.
Yeah.
And then they become, I hate the term, but I guess it's the best. Then they become the snowflakes that everyone complains about because it's like, wow, the world isn't going to just be at a whim for me and do whatever I want. No, it isn't going to fucking be that way.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't know. It's almost like, and it's my generation because we're up at bat now. We're the adults.
Yeah.
That it's like they're afraid to discipline their kids. Like, what happened, man? Like, yeah, I was spoiled, but when I did stupid shit, my mom would, like I said, she would kick my ass and take away my shit. And I'm not saying that I would still do dumb stuff anyway, but I learned that okay, that's a line I can't cross, and I don't understand why parents now are afraid to do that. It's really weird, and it concerns me because you're going to grow up you're going to grow up a whole generation of adults that are going to think they're entitled that don't know how to handle reality and what's going to happen to society as a whole when you have a lot of kids like that.
And it's also going to lead to different type of mental illness because of that as well, because they don't know how to cope with it, they don't know how to comprehend it.
Yeah, they don't have the coping skills because you didn't give them to them. You just like, you got suspended from school. Well, here's your iPhone back for the 2 days that you're off. Yeah. So to them, it's like, oh, wow, it's a vacation. I get suspended. I get to sit on my iPhone and, whatever the hell they're going to go on Instagram all day and do stupid shit.
Yeah, because I remember this was when I moved up in the Bay Area, San Francisco, living with my dad because of certain complications with my mom. I remember that I was a free wild child when I was younger in a bad neighborhood in LA.
You were in Compton. You were in a bad neighborhood in LA. Compton's no joke.
Compton and K-Town. And basically, I got disciplined by my mom, my grandmother, and my uncle. It's like having 8 family in a 2-bedroom apartment. I slept in a closet. So yeah, and my dad.
Damn, man, that must have been a colorful living situation.
Well, my mom had me when she was 17. My dad had me when I was 18. So that's
why. Oh wow, you were young.
Yeah.
They were young. I mean.
Yeah, and I moved with my dad, and he actually finished his college degree, and he's making a lot more money now. So my brother got a lot more than what I ever had, but my dad gave us the same love as he did. He was actually a very fun dad, a loving dad. He actually reminds me more of you, but he's a lot older than you by 10 years. But
okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I actually begged my dad to give one of these because I'm a huge comic book nerd. And you were talking about one of the live stream. My dad actually had this in his house for a long time. I keep telling me, give me all his D&D and comic books because I collect them.
Okay.
You should remember this.
Oh shit! The Death of Superman. Yeah, I had that. That's crazy. That was the one, and that was supposed to be because that was supposed to be a big collector's item, and then they brought him back to life. And I remember the price of the Death of Superman copy just imploded. Everyone's like, oh, it's gonna be so because Superman, they're killing him off. It's such a big deal. And you got it was the red logo with the blood dripping down, and then oh, he's back to life. It's like, God damn it,
And the price goes down, and I thought the new Superman movie came out a couple years ago will go. Yeah, the reboot will go shut off the roof for it, so I can sell it. It's like, nope, it was to shit.
Because the movie was a bomb too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bomb.
Yeah.
And Batman vs Superman was like, why he deemed a kryptonite to a freaking spear, a scepter? It's like it doesn't make any sense. And it made Doomsday look like a freaking anorexic monster.
I didn't see it, but I heard it because I didn't see it too because I heard it was terrible.
But Justice League was okay. It was okay, but wasn't great. I just watched that a while ago. I was like, yeah, I was like when you sound like I'm looking at my wall, I was like, I have it right here.
That's funny. Yeah, that was what I had. I did I get the one where you came back? I might have gotten that one too. Mm-hmm. It's funny because I'm sure some of those would actually be worth money now. Where the hell they went to is beyond me.
If you send me pictures of them, I actually appraise toys, figurines, and collectibles, and then comic books. I used to do that in the military base. And
oh, do you?
I don't do that anymore because I don't have the energy for it anymore.
But appraising is not easy.
No, but I can do it for you though. That's not a problem.
Okay, all right.
So whenever you want to see how much because I looked at some of my dad's X-Men. If you have the X-Men ones, certain ones are worth money, but a lot of them are actually pennies.
Yeah, they really?
Yeah, they're worth a lot of pennies. You want to have if you have any of the variant edition, it may worth money, but also you got to think about the condition as well because I don't know how you store your comic books. I know how my dad stored it, all in a damn tote, and I look at him like you just without plastic, like you just lost about a couple $1,000 in that box right now. Just went away.
Oh yeah, because the condition of them is I know I found that out is crucial. That's why they always tell you to put them in the plastic sleeves
And,
and be really careful with them.
and back then, 80s, 90s, they used cheap papers, really cheap papers to produce
So all
them.
to do the comics on, did they really?
Yeah, now they're like high quality papers now. Even though that costs $4 a freaking comic, it's like it's high quality. But comic books don't go out pretty soon. I'll give it about another few years. There'll be no more comic books to sell because everything's becoming digital.
Wow. But they'll be comics digitally now, is what you're
Yeah,
saying, right?
there'll be
They'll
comics
do
digitally.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
because there's no money to make to actually mass produce them and sell them. You can sell like a quarter of it. There's no willing like newspapers are. You're not seeing as much newspapers out as you know. Everything's online now because it's not profitable to mass produce these things anymore. Because
Yeah. Who's because everything is instant. You can look at comics right on your phone. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You could Everyone just wants that. Why am I going to go drive somewhere? Same with gaming. I talked about that before. Why am I going to go drive somewhere to consume something when I can just get it right here?
yeah,
You know, which is sad because that's another end of an era where comic book stores are going to be no more, and
mm-hmm.
that's a social interaction that's going to go away, and that's kind of depressing too if you think about it. So,
Well, the comic books will go away, but comic book stores still be up. But they're going to be selling mostly trading card games. They're still huge. Magic the Gathering, Pokemon.
yes, yeah, that is true.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
I've seen that firsthand. There's still competitions and gather. There's a store that's actually being resurrected by different owners that was close to me that they would have Magic the Gathering and D and all that
Yeah,
stuff. And those big draws. That was they still sold used games and it was a boutique shop, but that ended up, it kind of annoyed me to a point because they almost made it like they pushed that to the wayside and just focused on the card games because that's where they get their most money from.
yeah. There's a lot of boutique shops I go that used to sell games. That back then when I was with Nintendo, I actually go in and actually sell them and buy a comic book with that money for or buy a new used Super Nintendo game. Hey Ashley, want to say hi? This is my wife, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley. How are
My
you?
channel. Yeah, hello. How are you?
I'm good.
She's good. She says she's good. She's very shy. Just
Is she?
know. Yeah, she's my caregiver. I make her happy, or she'll kill me.
There you go.
Because
I know how that is, man.
Yeah, because like when you were like going shopping with your fiance, we were texting. I'm like, happy wife means happy life, and I also put that next sentence like. I always tell people about marriage is like giving your significant others a shovel so you can bury your life.
Yeah. Shopping with women is painful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
The reason why my fiance is my fiance because she's not into like she's not very high maintenance, and that's one thing that's great about her, and she's not like that in many ways. But that's one thing with shopping though. That's where she becomes totally female.
She's also juggling what 6 kids.
Yes.
So I think she deserves to go shopping.
Yes. That's why I don't. When I'm working, sometimes 13 hours a day plus.
You want to talk about it? It's women but shopping.
Shopping's fun.
Shopping's fun. Okay, she said shopping's fun.
Well, she doesn't even. It's not that she finds it fun, but she'll look for the best deal and will go for like hours until she finds it. So it's like, oh God. So she'll look through everything with a fine tooth comb, man. And it's like, oh, but I give her, I give her a lot of credit though, because like I said, I'll be here sometimes. Like I'm going to be here late tonight, and I'll be here like 14 hours a day, and she puts up with handling the 2 little ones and her, the kids, and it's crazy. So she does a lot.
Wow. Yeah. If you guys need good quality kids clothes and stuff, I can get you some at the Commissary BX. They're tax free. I can send you guys a picture of it if you guys want me to pick it up and send it to you.
Okay, cool.
Just kind of, I'll send you the receipt to pay me back, but that's pretty much it.
That's all good. That's all good, man. I
Because
appreciate it.
we have a lot of high grade shit for really cheap. Like you like name brands that's like $200. You get the base for $50.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're entitled somehow.
That's great.
Yeah, let's go back to the subject with the disciplinary thing because I remember when I moved with my dad, I told him, you might have to face this one day as well. It's like, I'm gonna call Child Protective Services, and my dad's like, here's the phone. It's gonna take you about 12 minutes for them to come here. Within that 12 minutes, I will beat the shit out of you. When I go to jail, I'll come out and find you. I'll beat the shit out of you again. And it's that scare factor that that you don't really give to that kids because you actually thinking that you're the man, but you're really not. Because every time any people that grow up, they thought they were Superman growing up. When they're teenage, you get the rebellion years, and then later on when you finally get out in the world, it's like, shit, I should have listened to my parents.
Yeah, man. It's so funny because it's like until like some people until like almost 30, they think they have the whole world figured out, and then all of a sudden they step out into reality and they realize, oh wow, once I leave this bubble, I don't know fucking shit, And that's what it's so funny because you see it with like teenage kids now. And they think they know, excuse my language again, but they think they know goddamn everything, man. And I'm just saying, you sit there and you laugh to yourself. It's like, you don't know a goddamn thing. You don't know, and you think you know it all right now. You haven't paid a bill yet. You haven't had to live on your own yet. You don't know what it's like when money's low and you can't handle certain things. You have no idea, but you right now think you know everything, and you laugh because it's like they sit there, they think they have the whole world figured out. It's like, okay, wait till reality hits you. Wait.
Yeah, and like a lot of people don't. I don't see a lot of teenagers getting actual part-time jobs anymore. That's I think one main reason as well.
Well, that's one thing I could say about my fiance with my stepdaughters is that she makes them do that shit. She doesn't mess around with that. She doesn't want them to be like everything is on a silver platter for them, which is good. So I'm sorry.
Sorry, continue.
No, what were you gonna say? Actually, I was done.
I would say my first job was at Ono Hawaiian. No, my first job was mentoring. The second job was Ono Hawaiian Barbecue. I worked at the Exploratorium in San Francisco. 2-hour commute there, 2-hour commute back on the weekends.
Wow.
But it was the subway station, so it was cheap, and also that's how you get a lot of girls. If you have money, you get girls. You take them out. That's how I learned. That's how, because back then, horny teenager, you want to bang everything that I see. So you need to get money.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Did you have that summer job back then? When you
I had summer jobs. My first job, I worked at a arts and crafts store called AC Moore. I worked at Filene's, which is now defunct. I worked at Filene's for a very long time when I was in college, a couple of years. I worked from high school to college.
Wow.
So it was, yeah. So yeah, I had summer jobs and part-time jobs while I was in school. My parents would let me not have a job. I hated the jobs. They drove me crazy, but I had them,
It's like that's what life is. You love it. You love to hate it.
Yeah. You definitely do.
Yeah.
So
it's just I think the next subject is how is it let's say I think 4 to 5 years now as becoming a father, and how that reflect with you being young.
What was the question again? I thought you broke up.
Sorry. How does it feel being you've been 4 to 5 years as a father now, and what you think as being a father right now, what reflect when your childhood, when your dad a father Jude as well. Is there any difference in it, or changes that you want to make for your future kids generation to want them to learn, or or basically there's similarity you actually took from your father and incorporate on your own and your own advice?
I think with it's with times that change. There's certain things you have to change with parenting. I will always instill in my kids a discipline though that we were talking about before that I don't see, and I think that's an issue. But there's things that I've learned from my parents that I'll instill in my kids too. And I don't want my kids to grow up to feel entitled like a lot of kids do now. And that's one thing I want to make sure that doesn't happen, where they don't feel like the world owes them something, so they could go out there and have the tools needed to be a functional person in society, because there's a lot of people right now that are not. So.
Yeah, I think the same way as well. It was funny with my wife. When I super chat you, that my wife says we're pretty much similar personality wise. But now I can see why. It's like we can agree and can disagree, but mostly agree majority stuff, and especially how our childhood was, that it's kind of similar, and what the future and tells us too as well.
Yeah,
you're a very blunt person, and I respect that. I don't think a lot of people
yes,
do.
I am. It's gotten me issues on my channel because people don't like when you're blunt. People like when you kind of serve them what they want to hear on a silver platter. But that's just something I've never done. So
yeah, because I'm very blunt. I will say it to your face if I don't like you. And a lot of these kids are like, you play Minecraft or Roblox? I'm like, no. Like, why? Because I don't like those games.
It's so funny. I remember one of my part-time. I worked at Radio Shack. I think it was like a holiday job. I worked at a Radio Shack part-time, and there was this guy there, really nice guy. He meant well. He was dying for me to get into Minecraft. So finally, I'm like, all right, man. Twist my arm. I'll finally, because he kept on going on and on and on about it. I'm like, this is the stupidest. Look, if people like Minecraft, hey man, that's great. But to me, this is a stupid ass game. I will never touch this again.
I wasted my $20 on it.
Yeah, it's just such. Maybe if I was younger, it definitely could be my generation, or whatever. But it just play Legos, man.
Yeah.
Really want, it's just hey, he came up with a brilliant idea that many people bought into, and now Notch is a multi-billionaire because of it, but it just ain't my thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like the whole battle. What's funny though? I actually was playing a little bit of PUBG on my phone, so I can't actually. It actually wasn't that bad. I was playing. I'm like, well, I figure it's like the mobile version, and it's. I mean, it doesn't look as good graphically, but it's the same thing as the PC version. I'm like, maybe this game isn't that bad. So I may have to give like Fortnite and PUBG another chance, because I actually was. What's up?
If you want, I'll play Fortnite with you, because I never played a damn game.
Which version do you play?
I said I never play. You just pick out a
version. Never played?
I'll get it. I'll play with you.
I'll probably do it on the X, because I'll probably do it on the X, the Xbox One, because that's the main system I'm going to be live streaming from 4K in, so I want to have most of the games on there. So yeah, I'll play with you. That's fine. I know a Dreamcast guy wants to play too, so I'll play with him.
Because I think I got for free for Fortnite on the Xbox One. I got on gold.
Yeah, because it's free. It's a they're doing the free to play model, and from what I'm hearing, people don't mind it. I haven't played it yet. This is what I'm hearing, because they're very fair with how they do microtransactions and stuff. So I'll give it a shot. I'm like, you know what? God damn it. I'm enjoying PUBG right now. I'm on my phone at all damn places. So I'm like, all right, maybe I was too harsh on because you heard me, man, in my streams. I was bitching all the time about PUBG, but I'm like, maybe I just need to learn it and stop being, because I happen to be with I'm sure I've talked about this to death with Dying Light. I did not like Dying Light at first, and then I tried it again, and then it's like one of my favorite games this generation, hands down.
Well,
so
that's with all the games. Like, I don't know if you play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Switch yet.
I haven't yet. No, I haven't.
Great storyline. A very bad battle system.
Is it? Yeah. Wasn't that the same with the first one too? I heard. I haven't played them, but I heard the same.
One or X yet. I haven't, but I'll probably live stream it when I move next couple months. Hopefully, I get the funds for it. But yeah, I played 2 because I saw a girl with nice tatas and blonde and redhead. It's like, yeah, why not? Do not hit me, please. I'm an innocent child.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's your wife is still there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
She does. If you watch some of our, we do a lot of these. She did makeup on one of the video, makeup on me, and it was like kissing a drag queen with no hair, with no wig on it. It was pretty
Oh
funny.
God.
Yeah, it's just that, you know, they keep changing these. You know, I played Payday 2 on the Switch. I got it. I paid a full price because RGT was like, "Oh, it's a great game," all that stuff. I was like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna go for his word." Played it. Got confused the hell out of it with the control system on it. I'm like, what's what again? You know, there's like so many. It's like playing Assassin Creed Origin, the first one on the computer when you had to type in 7 keys at the same time to do something. That's what
That wasn't even what that got to me. It was just there was something with the gameplay that just I remember trying Payday 2 a long time ago, and it was the same damn thing on the PC as it was on the Switch. It's just and I was like, all right, it looks like a good game. I'll give it a shot again on the Switch. It's cool. It's coming to the Switch. That's awesome. And I just was like, no, it just there's something that doesn't click with me with Payday, man. It's always kind of been that way.
I think Payday is a game that you have to play with someone because the AI on that thing is very dumb.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard both on the Switch and PC version. It's the same thing. The AI is ridiculous.
And it's like, you know, it's like I don't know if you play Assassin's Creed 1 on the computer, on keyboard and mouse.
Oh God, no! I don't. I only played Assassin's Creed. The original was on whatchamacallit, on Xbox 360.
Yeah, don't ever play on the PC on the keyboard and mouse because it's like you got type 6 or 7 keys to do something.
That's how I don't like. I don't like playing really any. I like playing with a gamepad on any with any PC game. People make fun of me. I'm like, I just feel more comfortable. I don't want to sit hunched over a desk and with a mouse and keyboard. I rather play with a gamepad. You know, to me, because PC is my main. I would say equal with the Switch. PC is my main way to game, and I rather be comfortable while doing it. You know, than. I'm at a desk 90% of I'm at a desk 95% of my day. I don't want to, you know, hunch over and relax and play a video game that way.
And
so
most of you grew up with actual console controllers. Then keyboard and mouse thing came out till Windows NT, Windows 95 with Quake and Hexen, Beholder's Gate, and Doom. Jet. I feel old by naming all these shit.
Yeah, man. Me too, man. Me too.
And I remember saying Hexen moved to the N64 port. I played the shit out of that.
Oh yeah, they had the N64. They had Quake on the N64. They had
the original Doom.
They had actually not the original Doom. It was actually like a reboot of the Doom. It was its own Doom. It just called it Doom. Or no, they called it Doom 64. Mm-hmm. That was really good. You know, it's funny. I didn't like it as a kid, but looking back on it, that was actually good though. Mm-hmm. And now they actually gave it the brutal Doom treatment on PC. That's actually really good as well.
Yeah, I got I got pretty much all the Doom. I just recently got a couple months ago when you were playing Castlevania years ago. You play Castlevania as your gameplay most of the time. I got Castlevania 1, 2, and 3 on the Nintendo, the original Nintendo. But I'm gonna try and live streaming it hopefully. After I find a place to move in June, I'm gonna try it out because I never played Castlevania games, and it looks really fun whenever you tell me you play the game.
They're tough, man. Especially the 1, 2. Well, 2 is a mat. 2, you know, 2 is not a terrible game. It's just they try to. That was like their first attempt at doing like what they did with Castlevania Symphony of the Night, where you're going all over and it's kind of like an RPG.
Yeah. So
it's very flawed, but it's still not a bad game. But 1 and 3 are great, but they're tough though. They're not easy.
Is it hard? Or I know you play. I actually played a game called Willow on the Nintendo.
Yes, I played Willow.
Is it hard as that or easier?
I would say harder.
Okay, because I can deal with it.
The thing is it's mostly the platforming in Castlevania games that gets the most, because it's almost perfection. There's no room for error. Mm-hmm. But they're still good. They're still great games though. Still excellent games.
Yeah. Well, I really want to see a lot of these damn like these games back ported up, just remastered, and just keep the story. Every time they remaster something, they always have to add a freaking story or remove a damn story for some reason. Just make the graphic look better, keep the damn story. That's it. You make money that way.
Yeah, it would be, I think I would love to see a reboot of Castlevania, and I have a feeling that
Oh, you got frozen.
if the right people get their hands on the IP, I got frozen.
Oh no, you're good now. It just froze and just like went speed up. So you're fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It just, you know, I don't think we'll see Final Fantasy VII until like 10 years from
I don't think we're ever going to see it, to be quite honest with you.
now. Yeah, I'm still waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3. They said releasing this year. I think it's going to release next 2 years from now.
I think that everyone's chasing. It's almost gonna be like Duke Nukem Forever with Final Fantasy VII. So
Duke
that's
Nukem
what I think.
It was a fun game, but it was a horrible game at the same time.
Yes, it was. It totally was.
It is weird. It's interesting to see how game and graphics evolve into how you started out in Atari 26 all the way out to the Xbox One generations. And it's very interesting how big companies like EA buy ports, buy an actual company like Westwood and Vertigo, and literally making an additional sequel for that game and destroying that franchise at the same time. Like Dead Space 3 got destroyed. Mass Effect Andromeda was shit. I've been live streaming Red Alert, Command and Conquer games. Those were my childhood games. And Tiberian Sun, and I've been playing as like, you know, yay. Everything they touch is turned to shit unless it's like FIFA. They cannot get wrong on FIFA because they need to make money from FIFA from microtransactions for that damn game.
Yeah, it's so weird. FIFA is very popular throughout. It's not popular in the States, but it's popular throughout the world.
Yeah,
you know, it's definitely popular.
Well, I think this is probably it. We've been almost talking for 2 hours.
Yeah, man. I think that's great. I had a great time. I really did. It was great talking to you. Great talking to your wife. I do appreciate it, man. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah, let me know when it. Yeah, not a problem. Let me know when it goes live, and I'll spread it around the internet for you.
You want me to? I don't know. You want me to send you the actual file, or do you want me to just upload it?
No, you can put it on. You can put your thing, and I'll spread it around for you.
All right, cool. Thank you very much.
Alrighty.
Is there anything else you want to add before we go?
Nope, that's pretty much it. I really appreciate you having me on, and I hope to see your channel grow. You do some awesome work, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. If you can, I like you to mentor me. I'll be your apprentice. Because I have nothing else to do. I'll be your secretary because you say you really need one. Because I'm mostly staying at home.
Yeah, man, things are getting crazy with that. So yeah, we could definitely chat. So I appreciate you having me on, and let me know when you have it live, and I'll spread it around for you.
And are you into that podcast? I'm gonna set with 3 to 4 people with the gaming, like Drunken Peasant, but it'll be like our version of it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I could do that every like a couple times a month, but I could come on from time to time and definitely come through.
Yeah,
and say
pretty much like once a month because everyone has like lives. We have lives to do.
Yeah.
So it's like
it's okay. Yeah, well, we'll see what I can do, and because like I said, I have some other stuff going on. Like I'm doing a Patreon only stream. I got to actually start doing some stuff with that. But like I said, I will definitely come through from time to time and do a show with you. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll be on your Patreon stream because I'm already your Patreon.
Okay.
So yeah, guys, this is Rich from ReviewTech. Please check out his link down below. He's an awesome dude, and please be nice and. Yeah, please be nice because I will find you. Just kidding, but I can, but I'm not going to legally. Anyhow, thank you for the interview in the podcast. It's an honor. It's been what 7 years?
7+ years you've been watching it.
Yeah. I hope that doesn't make you feel old.
No, it doesn't. Just being old makes me feel old. But no, I appreciate it, man. It's great that you've been around for so long. I really, really do appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much, and everyone hopefully have a great day or evening wherever this thing is on.
You too as well. Thank you.